I've lived in my quiet, tree-lined community for nearly 20 years. I'm retired now, and most of my days are peaceful morning walks, coffee on the porch, the occasional chat with neighbors, and always by my side is Buddy, my 6-year-old golden retriever. Not just a pet, but a fully trained service animal who helps me with mobility issues and alerts me when my blood pressure spikes. He's calm, quiet, and knows commands better than most humans I've met. But all of that meant absolutely nothing to Karen, our recently elected HOA president and self-appointed guardian of neighborhood perfection. Karen wasn't just strict. She was the kind of woman who inspected lawns with a ruler and photographed trash cans if they were out 10 minutes early. People avoided her like she was handing out subpoenas. Buddy and I, apparently, we were next on her list. It started on a Tuesday morning when I found a bright yellow violation notice taped to my door. Unapproved animal, immediate fine. $250. I blinked at it for a moment, wondering if it was a joke. Later that afternoon, I saw Karen marching down the sidewalk, clipboard in hand, sunglasses reflecting righteous fury. I stepped off my porch. "Karen, what's this about?" I asked, holding the notice. She didn't even look at me. Her eyes went straight to Buddy, who was sitting quietly beside me, tail wagging gently. "That dog exceeds the HOA's size limit," she said sharply. "Only pets under 30 pounds are allowed." I kept my voice even. "Buddy isn't a pet. He's a trained service animal." "Service animal, emotional support animal, companion animal doesn't matter," she snapped. "HOA rules supersede all that." I stared at her. "That's completely incorrect. Federal law says." Karen cut me off with a dismissive wave. "Federal law doesn't apply inside private neighborhoods," she said confidently, as if she were the authority on the Constitution. I couldn't help but laugh. "Karen, that's literally the opposite of how laws work." She huffed. "If the dog stays, the fines will continue." And with that, she stomped away. For the next week, I received daily fines, threat letters, demands to remove the unapproved animal immediately, even a notice that Buddy was disrupting the uniform appearance of the neighborhood. That one made me laugh out loud. My neighbors were sympathetic, even embarrassed. Several told me privately, "She's got no right to do this," but nobody dared confront her publicly. Karen thrived on dominance and paperwork. On the 8th day, I found her standing in my yard photographing Buddy through the window like he was a dangerous criminal. I stepped outside. "Karen, enough. Buddy is registered, trained, and legally protected. You're breaking the law. You're breaking the HOA rules," she said smugly. "And I'm documenting everything." That was the moment I decided the HOA needed a little education. The next week was the HOA board's monthly gathering. I arrived with Buddy wearing his vest, a folder of legal documents, a representative from the state, AITA compliance office, and a police officer, a neighbor who knew Buddy well and came voluntarily when I told him what was happening. Karen's face drained of color when she saw the AITA representative walk in. "What is he doing here?" she demanded. The rep smiled. "I received a complaint regarding discrimination against a service animal." Karen sputtered. "HOAs are exempt." The rep opened a binder. "No ma'am, they are not. In fact, federal law requires reasonable accommodation for service animals at all times. Attempting to fine or remove one is illegal." Karen turned bright red. "He didn't provide documentation." The rep replied calmly. "He is not required to. You are not allowed to ask for paperwork beyond 2 basic questions. And you didn't ask either of them." The room fell silent. The police officer then spoke. "We also received reports of harassment. Taking photos inside his windows." "That's not allowed." Gasps traveled around the room. Karen stammered. I was just doing my job." "No," the AITA rep said gently but firmly. "You abused your authority." He then read a list of violations Karen had committed. Interfering with the rights of a disabled resident, attempting to impose illegal fines, harassment, misuse of HOA authority. The board members looked horrified. They had supported her until this moment, believing her run-ins were mostly exaggerated stories. They were wrong. By the end of the meeting, the board had overturned every fine, formally apologized, required Karen to undergo mandatory training, removed her unilateral enforcement powers, and issued a vote for a special election to replace her. Buddy sat calmly the whole time, tail-thumping the floor whenever the room got too tense. Exactly 1 month later, Karen was voted out by an overwhelming majority. Apparently, I wasn't the only one tired of her clipboard crusades. A few days after losing her position, Karen came to my door, again, but this time without the sunglasses, the attitude, or the clipboard. She looked smaller, softer, human. I just wanted to say. She muttered, eyes on the ground, "I'm sorry." I studied her for a long moment. "Thank you for saying that," I said gently. Then Buddy nudged her hand with his nose. She froze, then awkwardly patted his head. "He's a good dog," she whispered. "He always has been," I answered. She nodded once, then walked away quietly, for the first time ever. Buddy still walks beside me every morning. The neighborhood is calmer now. The new HOA president is reasonable, and nobody has tried measuring my lawn or photographing my windows since. Funny thing is, But he greets everyone with the same kindness, even the people who tried to make life difficult. That's why he's the service animal, and I'm just the one following him.